I'm Catherine Ross, and I'm here live from the floor of the NYSE. Jim Cramer is off in California this week, so joining me is Jeff Marks, Senior Portfolio Analyst for Action Alerts Plus. Jeff, the market's looking for direction right now, and investors are looking for clarity on the trade war. But I want to address the elephant in the room, which is that we got an incendiary testimony yesterday from Ambassador Gordon Sondland, and I got to ask, why wasn't the market moving because of that testimony?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think what this market has been doing is it's really good at climbing this wall of worry as it relates to really anything with the impeachment, whether it was part of the Russian investigation that we saw previously or this now. I just think that it just does a good job of digesting this news. Maybe that's because we know there's an election next year, and maybe there's already some form of discounting taking place. But really, I think what will move the next direction, it's still about trade. It's still about tariffs. What's going to happen December 15th? Are they going to come off? Or are tariffs going to be raised? I think there's still some type of uncertainty of what we know there. So again, it just does a good job of moving past this noise unless it gets worse, unless things obviously change, of course. But it's still trade is still the number one director of this market.
We got earnings from Macy's, which is our real money stock of the day, earlier this morning, and they blamed the weatherman. Now, I know that we all are not a huge fan of the weatherman, but Macy's said that part of the reason that their sales were lacking was because of the later, colder weather. So, should they really be blaming the weatherman, or is that just an excuse?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So you had Macy say this. Kohl's, very similar. Kohl's was talking about an unusually warm month of September, and that hurt sales. But then on the other hand, if you go and you read the Target conference call, they really talked about balance throughout the quarter, and they were talking about an acceleration once the weather started to turn colder in the month of September. So to me, I think weather, look, I get it. If you're selling cold weather clothes, no one's going to buy it when it's warm out. I completely understand that. But it's an issue that all retailers have to face collectively. Now, there may be different on a relative basis based on you're located, but it's still an issue. So again, I think it kind of goes back to just as we look at retail as a whole, sort of what I know Jim Cramer's been speaking a lot about this, and we've been telling club members over at Action Alerts Plus too as well, is that really you need to have a strong online presence right now, and you have to also feature that buy online, pick up in store BOPIS as it's called. You either have to be really strong at that, or you need to be on the off-price side, and that's really just a strong value proposition for customers. We've been talking about off-price all week on this show. So I think that's what it still comes down to at the end of the day.
And of course, Macy's is our real money stock of the day, so head on over to realmoney.com for all of the articles that you could find. Jeff, this morning we got a headline that Charles Schwab is reportedly interested in buying TD Ameritrade. And that's not totally surprising because after this space, the online brokerage space cut commissions. M&A was expected. In fact, I spoke to TD Ameritrade's CEO back in October, and he said that I was the 16th journalist to ask him about that.
Wow, yeah. I mean, consolidation. I guess it was coming. Yeah.
So when do you think that we could expect to see another M&A headline if this deal is secured?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think I can place a specific timeline to it, but what I do find interesting about this news, this report in general, is if you kind of look at the timeline of things. So, of course, Schwab was the first one to come out and cut commission fees, which is great for the retail investor, by the way. Absolutely, that they don't have to pay that every time throughout the door. But so they cut fees, and then these stocks got hammered, right? They all go down pretty precipitously and fast. And now, the stocks have actually been kind of coming back, but is Schwab using this to their advantage to now go after TD and pick them up at a price that wasn't too much far away from where they were trading at previously? Maybe Schwab has some type of strategy here that they're waiting to tell the market. Maybe they're playing chess when everyone's playing checkers. I don't know. So we'll have to see what more comes out from this report.
I like that a lot. All right, Jeff, thanks so much for joining us today. Guys, thanks for watching. We are now heading over to our Action Alerts Plus daily rundown show over on actionalertsplus.com. We're going to be talking more about Salesforce because Jim is in California for Dreamforce. And we'll see you tomorrow. I'm Catherine Ross.